those of you that may be on the West Coast or Mountain Time, this is the Coca-Cola Supplier Development Institute monthly webinar series for today, April 19th. That's what the calendar says, but somebody told me it was the 110th day of January because we don't know what season we are in. So anyway, I hope wherever you are that you are enjoying what bit of spring that you may have or that you're looking forward to. Today's webinar is going to be about your brand and digital marketing. So I want you to be paying close attention. There's going to be great things. We're going to learn about Pinterest. We're going to learn about the AIDA of advertisement. So if you don't know what that acronym stands for, write it down because we're going to talk about it. And we're also going to be talking about the need to have social share plugins. Now, when I say that, you may not know what that means, but you're going to find out. And then once you see it, you're going to say, oh, that's what that is. So digital marketing and branding is very, very important. So we look forward to sharing some great information with you today in this webinar. This is how we're going to move forward. We're going to record this training. So if you forget something, or if you want to listen to it again or share it with your comrades, you'll be able to find it in our blog section of our TCC Fellows webpage. And for those of you fellows that are online, then you will also be able to find it in the Coke box. The webinar agenda, we're going to do a few introductions, talk about the guidelines of how we're going to work through the webinar, and then we're going to get right into the details of brand and digital marketing. There's so many great things that we would like to share with you today. We're going to follow up with an evaluation poll, and then we'll also send out something in writing for the fellows to talk about this particular webinar, and then we'll wrap it up in talking about what some of the next steps will be in the program. So our guidelines for today: don't be afraid to ask questions. You're going to say, well, wait a minute, you got my mic muted. How can I ask questions? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that. We want you to have some interaction. We want you to be open-minded to learning something new and figure out how that dog can get his ears to blow in front of that fan. So the way you want to ask questions is you want to locate the chat box and you send a question. I will be monitoring that, and I will be referring back to our presenter and let them know that there is a question on the call, and we'll try to get that answered. So that chat box is going to be right there at the bottom of your screen. You just go in and type in your question, and we'll go from there. So if you got questions, we've got answers, and if we don't have the exact answer, we will certainly get back with you. So all the phone lines, except those of us that are panelists, are going to be muted during this presentation so that we can eliminate any background noise. And then we want you to give us your feedback at the end. It'll pop up on the window. So when it pops up on the window, you're going to be able to answer a few questions. It's a very short list of questions. We just want to get your feedback. And then if you have additional feedback, you can certainly be able to provide that to us in a more formal setting. So for introductions, my name is Kathy Martin, and I am the project lead for the TCCC, the Coca-Cola Company Supplier Development Institute for 2018. I am the owner of Cafe Martin Solutions, LLC, and I'm working with this program on behalf of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. We also have an executive coach who is Dr. Nicole LaBeach. She is a senior organizational development consultant, and she was with Volition Enterprises, Inc. She is contracted with Coca-Cola to do executive coaching for all of our executives that are part of this program. And last but not least, we have our business coach, Mark Parham. He is the director of the Entrepreneurship Center at the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. And if you are not familiar with the activities of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, we encourage you to go to our website and find out all the things that we do. But one of the biggest things that we do is help to promote entrepreneurs, help them be successful, so that they can continue to stay in business. So we have lots of things to offer and share. So just as an advertisement, be able to go to our website when you finish and find out more about what we do here in Atlanta and with several other Urban League centers throughout the United States. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mark, who is going to be your presenter today. And he's going to talk about your brand and digital media marketing. So take it away, Mark.
All right. Thank you, Kathy. Okay, today we're going to talk about, the importance of your brand and digital media marketing. There have been so many things that are going on now in relation to how you use social media, how do you use digital marketing. And I'm going to go over kind of a 30,000-foot view of what we're going to talk about in relation to how to just kind of start branding yourself using digital media marketing. Some of the topics I'm going to go over today are the first impressions. What do people see when they see you online? What are the first impressions? And we're going to talk about how to build your brand. How do you build your brand online? And then we're going to talk about some simple social media marketing strategies. Now, this is not going to answer all your questions, but what I'm trying to do is give you enough information so that when we start meeting with you, if this is something you're interested in and you're going to use it in your development plan, that we can start helping you develop a strategy. So first, I'm going to talk about first impressions. I know you've seen this statement, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Well, this is really, really important today because impressions are made so quickly online. For example, here, back in the 1990s, it took 45 seconds to make a good first impression. In 2011, it took 7 seconds. Today, it takes 3 seconds. So people are making a decision on whether or not to look deeper into you or learn more about you in 3 seconds by looking at their phone or looking at their computer. So you have a very limited amount of time available to make your good first impression. So what's a good first impression? You want that impression to be, what mental image do people form when they see your logo, when they see your company name, when they see a picture of you? What is a mental image of that person or brand? Now, when we start talking about mental images, you got to understand that 90% of the information transmitted to the brain is visual, okay? And we make that clear because right now, when you look at the internet, you look at things going on, everything's visual, graphics, pictures, photos, infographics. So you want to start using these kind of tools when you start working, trying to get your message out there. For example, when we look at this box here, I use this a lot in live class. What do you see first? People say the red box, but it describes what it is over on the right, a plane figure with 4 equal straight sides and 4 right angles, but we see the red box. That's a demonstration of how quickly we're drawn to graphics. Now, some of this is what we call a slide that just provides information, an infographic. Some people are using these very successfully in telling their story about their business. For example, here we're talking about the power of visual content. I have different things. 40% of people respond better to visual info than plain text. Infographics can, improve website traffic. 80% of what you see is retained. So you can create an infographic with simple facts about your organization. We're the best at this. We're ranked high in this. You can create a slide like this, not only to talk about your business, but also it may be a topic that they may need some education on. So you can definitely use this as a way to create more buzz about your business. So getting back to the main point, social media is obsessed with images because we're wired for them. You see all the graphics here. So we're going to talk about now visual social media savvy, online impression. What happens when people see you online? One of the first things that's so important when you're talking about putting pictures of yourself out there, you're going to brand yourself, you have pictures on your website, you need to make sure you have a great photo. We want a headshot with a clean background, you smiling. Get these professionally done. And I can't stress the importance of getting professional photographers to take if you have photos on your website about your staff and things like this, have them done. And make sure that if you're going to get them professionally done, that they're all done at the same time or in the same location, so they all have the same background. You see so many sites now, people just put any kind of picture, and it takes away from the site. So have a great photo done. You see here, just a little bit of shoulders, make sure it's not blurry, but really smile too. A lot of people, you don't want to take so serious. You want people to enjoy doing business with you. So make sure you're smiling, because this is your personal image. In computer terms now, we call them avatars, but this is who you are. So you want to take great pains to make sure that you have a great photo. And this is not only for your business. If you have a personal Facebook page, a personal Instagram account, have great photos, because that's where people are going to learn more about you. Other thing that's very, very important, if you have gotten into using social media and things like this, I want you to understand that if you have a YouTube account, a Twitter account, an Instagram account, you need to synchronize your brand. So that means that these areas in here, where you have YouTube, this is a banner, the banner on Twitter, you want to make sure that they say the same thing, you have the same graphics, so that regardless of where people start coming in to find out more about you, they see the same thing. They may find you on YouTube, but when they go to your Twitter site, they need to see the same thing, the same banners. So whatever tools you're using to create your banners, make sure that you create them for each of the different social media platforms. As you see, I'm using Home Depot as an example. Also, too, use photos on your social media posts. Maybe posting about something that's going on in your business, or you got an event coming up. Make sure you use a photo there so you can capture their attention. You can see here Home Depot is using photos all over the place now. So I want you to use photos. I'm showing you now a Facebook page, but don't just post without a photo. I know a lot of you see posts now, if it's more than 3 or 4 sentences, even if they're a friend of yours, you say, I'll read it later. So make sure you're using photos on your social media posts. I'm showing you here, same thing with Pinterest and Instagram. They're using some of the same photos, but make sure you can see that the logo is on both. So make sure your logo is out there and standardized across all your platforms. Now, what's interesting about this statement here is that Pinterest is one of the least subscribed to and sells more than a lot of people, okay? So I want you to understand that when we're looking at this, you have to know that Pinterest actually does a great job of marketing, particularly if you're marketing products and things like that. So just pay attention to that, okay? Let's remove my little annotation there. All right. LinkedIn now allows videos. So creating a 90-second video or 1-minute video about something that's coming up, say you're having an event, it's great for you to get in front of your phone with a good background to say, hey, this is Mark Parham. I want to invite you to my special event coming up next week. Do personal invitations. Just make sure it's clean and the sound is good. But start using video. There are other resources for your phone and video where you can download images straight from the web. You can use editing software. Something I use a lot is called InstaQuote, where I can put out a quote for the day. If I want people to follow me. But there are all kind of resources now that you can use from your phone to make your post a little more lively, a little more enjoyable, a little more entertaining. So I want you to, if you have questions about it, I want you to contact me, and I can show you some of the tools that I use to help get my message out. Now we're going to start talking about, you understand how to create some of the tools, but how do you actually build your brand on the internet. First, let's talk about what a brand is. As the statement says, it's the place in your consumers or your potential customers' mind that you want your brand to own. And understand the brand is the benefit of what you want them to think of when they think about you, when they think about your company. What do they say? What's the benefit of dealing or purchasing or ordering from this company? A strong brand position means that the brand has a unique, credible, sustainable value in your customer's mind. It gives people a good understanding of who you are, what you stand for, and what you represent. It says up here, the branding is an emotional response that business evokes in a customer. A good positioning, it's a single idea. Sometimes I work with people on building their brands, and they try to convey too much. But it's a single idea that revolves around a benefit that helps your product or service stand apart from the competition. And we can help you with that as well. For example, I have a few up here. When you think of Disney, you think of family, fun, and entertainment. Walmart, low prices and good values. They don't say anything about customer service and all that other stuff. They want you to think low prices, good values. FedEx, guaranteed overnight delivery. McDonald's, and you can see the McDonald's now have really adopted this food and fun concept. All the McDonald's are being redeveloped, and they spend most of the store now is that playground for the kids. Okay, Apple innovation, Google simplicity, and Toyota stands by its reliability. I'm going to play a short video real quick on some of the brands that you may notice, but you did not know how they were actually working their magic on you. Now, some of you recognize some of those logos and brand, but for example, one that's really been working on people, they didn't really realize it, was the Corona ad. You don't recognize it, but they're branding their beer as a daytime beer. So that when you're in Mexico, you're on vacation, you go up to the bar in the middle of the day, they say, what do you want? A lot of people don't even know why they say Corona. But if you pay attention to the commercials, it's showing people drinking Corona during the day. A lot of the other beer commercials are doing it in bars in the evening, tied to sport. So you can create a brand identity for your product by just the graphics that you're using when you display your product. But a well-crafted brand positioning has three primary components. It's trying to define the target market that you wish to pursue. Just like in that Corona ad, they're targeting people that are on vacation during the day. You see people on Facebook now, anytime they're on vacation, if they're on the beach, they're taking a picture of themselves in a Corona. The definition of the business your company in, or the industry or category where it competes, and the statement of your point of difference and key benefits. Using that Corona ad again, they're defining who they're going after, the business that they're in, and the point of difference is that they're a daytime beer. So they differentiated themselves just by the graphics in their ads. So there are 5 principles of effective positioning. First off, fit. You want to seek to leverage the strength of your existing brand position. So you want to make sure you fit in the right place. The value, you want to focus on the benefits that the customers benefits, what they perceive the value to be. Okay, and uniqueness. You want to make sure that your product is in a position that's where your competitors not. What is your unique difference? Your unique difference may be your creativity. Your unique difference may be your attention to detail. But you need to create something that the customer is going to benefit from. And also sustainability. how long can you own this space? You see some of the ones that we talked about now, like FedEx, for example. It doesn't matter who you're going to use to get something there in the mail overnight. Even if you're using the U.S. Postal Service, people still say, are you going to FedEx that? It's almost become a verb. Same thing with copiers or Xerox. That word has become synonymous with copiers. So you can actually establish your brand as a unique identifier in the industry. And credibility is so important as well. You get a credible fit between who you are and what your customer is looking for. So you got to be credible. So now we're going to go into digital and social media marketing strategy. Okay. And I say this key because strategy is so important. A lot of people feel they can just get out there and start posting and things like that. You have to have a strategy. And we build our strategy by using this marketing communication mix: advertising, public relations, direct sales, and promotion. This is not new. This has been the most interesting thing about advertising. Has been there from the beginning of time. What has changed are the tools we use to make this happen. So we talk about first attention, then we try to get their interest, then we try to get desire, and then we get them to act upon what we've done. So let's talk about attention first. Online, you must first capture the viewer's attention. A lot of places now, I want you to start paying attention, is rely on a mix of visual stimuli. But a lot of it is based around images now, having a great image. Okay? Then once you get their attention, you can employ text to further grab their attention. So you have a picture of something, then you have some text describing what it is, or telling them a little bit more. Now what we've done is, our next step is, we had the picture, we had a text. Now we got to pique their interest, because a lot of times customers may not really need the products that we're trying to sell, but we have to establish a need in the mind of the consumer or the potential customer. We get trapped a lot of time in these ads coming on at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, selling us things that we don't really need, but after watching the commercial, we're like, well, maybe I do need that banana holder. Okay. But the whole goal is to get you to feel that you need it and create a personal link in that message. So now that we've got your attention, we piqued your interest, now we got to stoke the flames. We got to make you really, really want it. We got to make sure that we understand that you have a problem and we have the solution to the problem. Okay? It's going to be so amazing that they can't live without it. They cannot live without what you do. So you got to show them what's in it for them if they choose to work with your organization or choose to buy your products. And this is the biggie. Now it's time to get them to take action. And this slide is so important because you got to determine what action do you want them to take. A lot of times when you're marketing on the internet, people say, well, I want them to buy something. That may not be the action. Maybe you want them to just register to get more information. So you ask them something simple first, like, let me capture your email address. I don't need your name. I don't need your phone number. I need that email address. Or maybe you want them to click to schedule a call. I offer, a free 30-minute consultation, or let one of our salespeople talk to you immediately. And on some sites now, you can have not only the action, you can make it so that when they click a button, it actually rings someone's desk. So they can take immediate action and talk to somebody today. So get away from always thinking that the action is getting someone to buy something. Sometimes the action is getting someone to take the next step, the next logical step in your sales process. Maybe asking for information, maybe talking to someone. A lot of times now on your websites, you can have chat windows where people can start up a chat with one of your sales representatives. But you have to remember to ask them to do something. This action step is one of the most important steps because without it, you will not know the effectiveness of your campaign. So please ask them to do something. All this together, we create what we call a digital marketing framework. You have your website marketing, you have great content that you're putting out for SEO, You have your email database. A lot of people are not using email marketing, and you really need to start thinking about it. And then you combine that also with social media marketing. And the whole goal is to get people to do some type of customer engagement. Okay. Something very important about website marketing is making sure, there's a term out now called responsive, making sure that your website adapts to the different types of screens that people will be looking at things on. I find out now through the metrics that I manage that over 65% of my clients and potential customers are using their phone. So I gotta make sure that regardless of what device that they're using, tablet, phone, or computer, the website responds to the look that looks best on that device. So if you're not sure about it, if you have a web development company or web developer, just ask them, is your site responsive? Or better yet, go to your site from multiple devices and see if it responds differently. If it doesn't, change it. Now, email marketing, as I mentioned, it still remains the most effective way to communicate with customers. 91% of all consumers still use email daily, okay? A lot of times if people are going to text, I still rather deal with email. So you can use email marketing to help you grow your company by delivering good content and message. Because the whole goal, when people read your email, and I have the statement up here, click, not flick, I want you to think about when you see somebody flicking through their phone, and they're flicking through the phone and flicking. But what you're trying to do is when they come to your ad or your email, you want them to click for more information. Okay? So instead of flicking, that finger rolling, you want them to click. But the whole purpose of email and social media is to drive them to your landing page or product page or website. Now I want you to understand something. A lot of times you're driving people to your website, but they don't land on the page you're actually trying to sell them something. That's called a landing page. So say you have a big sales promotion going. When people come to your site or they click for something in email, you want them to go to that page where they can buy your product or service, where they can take action. If they want to know more about your company, they can go back and click at home, about us. So you need to understand that marketing now, you've got them to click through. You got them to click through to your website, but now you want them to take action. So you have to really be very clear on what you want to happen when they come to your website. What's the first thing? My 3 seconds after people hit my website, something pops up that says, schedule a coaching session with me. Because that's what I'm trying to drive people to do. I use my free introductory coaching session as a way to screen my clients. I give them like 15 minutes where I try to see if I can solve their problem. And I'm also trying to determine for my benefit if they're even coachable. Okay? So figure out what you want to happen when people come to your site, because you want to capitalize on every moment where a user may feel compelled to click. What you're trying to do is trying to get them to not click away. Social media, it says it can be used to drive traffic to your site, but that's really its purpose. Your goal with all your social media, with your Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, is to get people to like what you're putting out on social media, to drive them to your site where you can truly engage them, where you can say, buy here, schedule this, provide me with your email, sign up, register for my newsletter, some way of driving that information. Now, there are a number of email marketing tools out here. I use Constant Contact. There's MailChimp. There's quite a few. But you got to figure out what works best for you. Okay, there's different pricing strategies. For example, Constant Contact uses the number of contacts you have. They charge you by that. You can send as many messages as you want. MailChimp judges it by contacts, but they're really more concerned with how many messages you send. Okay, I send a lot of messages because I not only send them for me, I send them for some of my clients. So I'm all based on, I don't want to, I'd rather pay for the amount of data I use. And then there's other attributes of each of these. Like, for example, Constant Contact has something that we call autoresponders, that when somebody signs up for a list, you can have automatically up to 10 emails that go out to these people over a period of time. You can say once a month, once a week, but it's all done automatically. So people wonder sometimes, wow, you must really spend a lot of time online because you're sending me stuff all the time. But the truth is, once you gave me that email address, it's automatically being sent to you. So if you need help trying to figure out which one works best for you, that's something I want you to bring up in one of your coaching sessions. And we can help you figure out what's the best form of email to use. But I do want you to know that email is a very important way. The other reason it's important is because when I send an email message out, I can change the subject line. I can do A and B split testing to find out what subject line works best to reach my customer. Something else is important when you're doing any kind of posting or sharing or when you're writing articles, you want to make sure that it's very easy for people to share your content. They shouldn't have to go someplace else and click. You see up here, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. You want to make sure that if you're posting something out there and someone likes it, they don't have to go through a whole lot to share it to their database or share it to their followers. You want to make it easy, okay? So these are called plugins. Generally, every site has them. All sites are built with them. You just have to know how to use them effectively. So now let's talk about social media marketing. The principles are this. Social media is social. Think sharing. What do people want to share? You want to share things that educate people. Not only educate them to your company, but maybe educate them as to who you are. Okay? But I want you to understand too, social media is a two-way street. If you want people to like your content, you need to like theirs. You'll find sometimes if you like someone else's content, next time you put something out, they like yours. And once they like yours, their friends see that they like yours. They may start liking your content. So I want you to make sure you spend time in the morning when you get up, going through, just liking other posts made by other people. And you'll find that they will start reciprocating to you. So this is one of those things where I want you to start thinking about sharing what you share and how you like things. All right. I want you to also think about going real time. You know, if there's something that's happening real time in your community or something that you see in the paper and you want to post it, share it real time. Don't wait a couple of days later. If you're reading an article you think is great for your customers to be aware, something industry specific, share it. And that's something else I want you to understand, that a lot of times people are afraid to post and afraid to do social media because they feel they have to write all their own posts. But just go to the electronic newspapers online, maybe in your industry, and read an article. You may find a great article on advertising or marketing or doing something associated with business. Share that article to your network. So I want you to understand how that works. But I want you to go real time. I want you to start looking online every day and find stuff that you can share to your customers that's going to help them understand that you're an expert at this, and you're going to make sure that everything that you're doing is aware of, you're making them aware of it. But this is also important too. I want you to start educating your customers. They don't want to be sold. It's about giving them good information. So I want you to pay attention to what's going on in your industry, things that may be affecting your customers, and letting them know that, hey, I'm looking out for you. I'm sharing this information with you so you can see what's going on in this industry. And as I've been talking about, you got to go multi-channel. There are a number of tools out there that you can use that will help you go multi-channel. For example, one of the reasons I use Constant Contact is so when I send out an email message, I can also schedule that same message to go to all my Facebook pages, any Facebook page that I'm a contributor on, my LinkedIn account, my Instagram account, my Twitter account. I can do it all at one time, multi-channel. And a lot of times too, this is one of those tools that people go, how do you get so much content out there? You can get it out there by using tools that help you get your information out. And one of these things is so important. Don't try to sell to everybody. Just try to target your niche. You know, figure out where your people are and target them. Send your information to them. If you're on LinkedIn, join the right groups. If you're on Facebook, join the right groups and send your information out to them. So in summary, graphics really matter. Okay? You got to have good graphics. So spend the time. Now, what's great now is most of your phones, your high-end phones, the ones you're spending almost $1,000 on now, they have great cameras. So you may get the right tools to help you hold your camera steady and things like this so you can get good graphics. But social media is social, okay? All right? We want you to synchronize your brand, make sure your brand looks the same regardless of what platform people are coming to you in. I call it coming down the rabbit hole. Whatever rabbit hole they start down, you want them to end up on your website, but you want them to see the same branding all the way down that hole. Our goal is to get people to click, not flick. Okay, just think about when you're watching people, they just keep flicking through. See how often they flick versus pressing and clicking. I want you to be persistent and be consistent, okay? But the biggest thing, I want you to convert your followers to customers. That's the big mystery about social media marketing, and that's something that we can help you do. So I want you to think about these things as we start working with you to try to help you understand how to do this and how to make it a bigger deal for you. All right.
So Mark, thank you very much for, I want you to continue to talk about the poll, but I just wanted to reiterate, you know, we talked about the AIDA of advertising. So now we know that that stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. And you talked about some tools that included the fit, value, uniqueness, sustainability, and credibility. So these are all very, very important. And we also learned that 91% of people go to emails every day and still use that, and that Pinterest is the place where people actually make the purchases from. So this was great information. Thank you so much, Mark.
All right, the poll should be showing right now, so I'll give you a little time to take it if you wish. We also will be sending out an evaluation survey along when I send out a replay of this webinar. But you are more than welcome to, you should see the poll on your screen right now, and you can answer these questions. And I'll end it here in another minute or so, and we'll wrap up the session for today. Kathy, were there any questions or anything, or?
No, I kept checking.
Okay.
Nothing in the
Okay.
chat box,
Right.
which means people were listening. For those on the phone and those that were online were watching the screen, which is very, very good. We appreciate that. For those of you that have finished answering those few questions, please remember that we do our webinars on the third Thursday of every month. So that means on May 17th, we'll be doing another webinar. And that's going to be on business certifications and the importance of how you should certify, when you should certify, and who you should certify with, depending upon the nature of your business. We also will have an on-site meeting with the Coca-Cola team and the Supplier Diversity Institute on Thursday, May 10th. That will be on-site here in Atlanta. And that particular topic, we're going to spend the entire day talking about financials for non-financial managers. So what you want to do is, if you have a list of questions about your finances, about your audited statements, be prepared to have those questions ready, because the experts will be with you the entire day to talk about that. Because as you know, the wonderful things that we just learned about digital marketing is great. However, we have to know how to keep up with our finances. We have to know how to do this properly. We have to know how to use that information to make future decisions about our business, whether it's growth, expansion, or dissolution. So these are very important things to know. So mark those days on your calendar. That's May 10th on site in Atlanta and May 17th for our upcoming webinar on business certifications.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and end the polling. And we want to thank you all for taking time to get with us today. As I said, I will be sending you an email with a link to this recording. I want you to send it out to your coworkers and anyone else that you feel would need this information. Our goal is to provide information not only but for you as the executives of your organization, but also your employees. So feel free to send it out. And if they have questions, feel free to use our contact information to send us questions so we can get them answered for you. So Kathy, I'll let you wrap it up and I'll end the meeting.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mark. You did an excellent job of giving us some new insight. Mark has quite a lot of experience in the technology area. So as you are completing your individual development plans, when you get to those goals in that plan that talk about marketing strategies, you might want to think about your digital marketing presence and what goals that you might want to accomplish. And as you get to that point, then we'll direct you back over to Mark for some assistance as needed to help you with your plan. So with that being said, we're looking forward to continuing with the individual development plans. For those of you that have not completed them, we are looking forward to those completions of those drafts in the upcoming days. Because we've got some more business consulting that we need, business coaching that we need to do with you. And we'd like to make sure that when we go into the meeting on May 10th, that we can assure the rest of the team that we are moving along and going forward on schedules. So if you have any questions about that, please contact Mark or myself. If it's related to executive coaching, please let Dr. Nicole know. And with that, we'll say goodbye, stay warm, and we'll see you in sunny Atlanta on May the 10th. Have a great day.